Hi Taurus, welcome to your bi-weekly reading. I'll be still doing a bi-weekly reading because it's a very busy, crazy time of the year and I want to keep the channel as updated as possible. So like the last time, I will also be doing the Celtic Cross reading to give a little bit more insight about the possible energies surrounding your sign for the next days. Always keep in mind that this is just a general reading. Take what it feels right and with what resonates with your own life experiences at the moment. And if you would like a private reading with me, please contact me through the email I put in the description box below, and I'll be glad to receive your message. So, Taurus, this week's it's a time to understand what real change, what real truth means to you. Because you are in a time of understanding more and more and more. Sometimes the harsh truth uh, that surfaces to shatter our illusions, to shatter our unrealistic expectations and projections of relationships, of circumstances, of hopes and desires that are not built on a strong foundation in accordance to your own soul's desire to evolve and to grow. So, depending on your level of awareness, depending on your level of identification with what I'm saying, it may be a week that can set you free. The more you allow yourself to surrender and let go of whatever doesn't serve you anymore. It could be a healing time to your heart, and it could be this cathartic moment where you realize all the illusions that you still hold near to you that kept this healing of happening, that kept this healing um, closed behind doors where you really thought that maybe you were better, you were going okay, nothing is really wrong, and suddenly an event happens and you awaken um, this wound that still lies in you, that needs attention, that needs focus, that needs time, that needs awareness to realize what it is that it's going on that still needs your love poured into it and your understanding. And so you will be weeks where you will be very sensitive. You have the moon in the position of yourself, representing yourself. So you will be very sensitive, very emotional, sometimes too drawn on your own emotions and fears to the point of feeling, again, very sometimes depressed, sometimes oversensitive, sometimes overreactive, sometimes wanting to just be to shut down from the world because you become like this. Your senses become so hugely developed that you cannot stand to listen the sounds, the voices of people, the sounds of places, and so it's a time to really protect your energy, to work on the wall, to protect this energy field around you because the barriers are dissolving. And at the same time, it's a very creative time in terms of the unconscious messages you are receiving. So it's a time to pay attention to your dreams, definitely. It's a time to pay attention to the emotional intelligence behind your thoughts and your emotions because they are mingled. And it will be hard to distinguish between what you are thinking and what you are feeling. They are all together in the same bowl, trying to perceive a message, an important message that only you can make sense of. So at the same time that this moon can be too vulnerable, too fragile to deal with when we just want to keep strong and to keep focused and to keep practical. At the same time, it allows you to have a deeper understanding of the veils around you, the half truths, the illusions, the things that are not the things that are not shining in clarity. They could This 2 weeks, all of that can be illuminated by those events. I don't know if there's a full moon happening. It probably is. So maybe around the time of the full moon, you definitely should um, watch your energy field, watch your emotional self, to keep aware, and at the same time don't be over drowned and controlled by all this flood of feelings and sometimes disappointments that you may be realizing. All has a very good meaning and purpose, which I believe is about freedom. It's about surrendering to these experiences, to redemption, to be to allow yourself to reason above, to transcend above all that it's not essential, all that you identify yourself as secure and sure and truth, and become a new you, and become a re-empowered version of yourself. And this demands a lot of inner strength and awareness to understand the layers of yourself and the layers behind everything that happens. It's also a time where, again, you need to pay attention to what you are seeing and perceiving, because there's a high chance that what you are seeing and perceiving, it's more. It has um, a more meaningful message, underlying message, than the appearance. So don't definitely. It's not a week to make big decisions. It's not a week to make big change in terms of directions of your path, because you are still learning a lot about it and you are still receiving um, a lot of insights to process and make sense of. But it's a week to go within, to understand your emotional self, to look at things again with a different perspective, to understand the moments, the standstills, the disappointments, the patterns where you may look for illusions and deceit, to come into your space, the victim mentality, the poverty mentality, all this sabotage patterns that we all have working on our unconscious to keep us safe. All of that, it's important for you to take note. So it's a time to lay more in your space, to also promote this feeling of understanding that you are walking on this journey for quite some time, and maybe you are tired, and maybe you just want a break and finally be this free, independent character that is just reliant on herself. It's confident, it's sexy, it's vibrant, it's creative, and she works on at the beat of her own drum. She is this creative force that puts her spirit at the service of what she's doing. And maybe you want to become this independent woman, you want to become this independent man, you want to become this person that is free and runs wild after what um, after what their creative self, their authentic self, tells them to do and to run after. And you really are focused on being this independent business mind, creative person. But it seems that maybe something, it's quite not solid. It's quite not yet unconditioned to allow you just yet to be completely free on that space. So maybe this look for independence, this look for pursuit of a creative life is causing some turmoil and some conflicts around you that throws you out of your balance, that makes you maybe question your path, that makes you that makes you in this faith crisis of faith about what you are doing. So this is why the moon and the hangman here together really tells you to observe, be observant, be inside of your being, be in a inner um, observation of the reality of what's going on. So you may face some type of unexpected event, unexpected change, unexpected situation that can throw you out of your gain sense of perspective of being creative and free and independent. And maybe this quest for independence is causing people to be upset, or circumstances in your environment that were used to the old you to be really shocked and not able to understand what's going on with you. But whatever happens in that way, it's a test and a challenge of how committed you are to this new independent version of yourself. Because you built the foundations right. The Four of Wands in the recent past. You definitely built the foundations of the situation right. You have the base. You are determined, to be in the space of creative life that you can sustain, that you can, again, independently manage and make it happen and make it yours, and not have to be accountable or give justifications and answers to nobody else. And so this foundation is real. This foundation is solid. You are building it. You have built it. You have put a lot of effort into it. But the tower may question this foundation. You may question if this is real, if this is manageable, if this can really happen, if I'm not doing a mistake, if I'm not letting things fall apart because I'm crazy or delusional or not knowing what I'm doing. So you may be questioning a lot. Keep in mind that yes, the foundations are there. And when we have, because usually the tower talks about the situation built on weak foundations, where the foundation is not solid enough to sustain the tower, and so it falls down. But here for me, it appears that you have built and you are in the space of you have the foundations, you have the ground, you have the base already cemented and done, and it's truth and it's worthwhile and it will make you go far. But in order for you to rise above the foundation, to make the building tall, to make your empire, you will need to make a discriminative process about what you allow in this new building and this new tower to be built and what you don't allow. And this could be a simple thing as what type of beliefs you still hold that are not a match to this foundation. What type of people you still relate to that are not in resonance with your authentic self. What type of circumstances don't fit with this new gain perspective. All of those type of situations can cause you some turmoil, but at the end is just to make you grow, to make your empire grow, to make your life grow in a way that it's much more authentic to yourself and that will promote the free wild spirit in you to blossom completely, to be productive, to be a force of nature, to just make things happen and act. And the good thing is that the environment around you also has temperance. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major arcana. So whatever happens in this couple of weeks are definitely major events, and they have a lot of important underlying meanings that you should pay attention to, and make your own process to understand again the messages behind the experiences you are living. Don't be quick to judge, don't be quick to act, don't be quick to jump into conclusions and make rash decisions because you are tired of the standstills and the roadblocks that you keep facing. Keep yourself as best as you can in a place of alchemy, because the environment around you is not that bad. It's promoting you a sense of peace. It's promoting you a sense of quietness and stillness and patience. So the environment and some people around you really want you to be in this, want to help you in the state of the moon that represents yourself, to go within in this journey and keep yourself balanced as possible between your emotional self and your physical self. It could also mean that during this time, and again, your emotional self is overtaking other aspects of your life and making it difficult to maintain your balance, to maintain your ability to be at peace and to be calm and aware and ready to face all the challenges that may be presenting in this type of situation. But in the future to come, you have the Ace of Swords. In the hopes and fears, you have the Queen of Swords, and then in the outcome, you have the Three of Swords. So a lot of swords energy coming through after this rush of emotions that you may feel. I believe that again with the moon, you will see some aspects of your life, of other people, of events that you hold dear, that you hold in your heart as reality, as truth, as honesty, that you with this new gain sense of perspective and unconscious emotional intelligence, you understand that there's lies between the truths, and there's a lot of smoked mirrors around you and maybe still within you that promote this type of events that can happen. So you have a lot of swords energy, yes, new beginning in terms of your mind, clarity, truth, words, communication, getting to the bottom of things, being practical and rational. So again, after the flood of emotions, after the moon that it's so opposite to the meaning of swords, after being drowned into your emotional self, being guided by your unconscious, understanding your intuition, listening to it, making sense of irrational thoughts at your own way, at the symbolism of things you may perceive right now, at the signs that are being presented to you. All of that will then help you begin fresh and gain this clarity of the Ace of Swords and the Queen, gain this sense of clarity where you will no longer fear to tell the truth. You will no longer fear to face the truth and to speak it out and to face whatever needs to be faced in terms of cutting ties that are no longer healthy for you, or cutting ties with thought patterns and emotions from your unconscious past conditioned self that still puts you in your heart at the line and saddens you and makes you go through periods of grief and solitude and deep sorrow. But of course, and always, depending on your level of awareness, on consciousness, this card can manifest as an internal feeling and an internal archetypal meaning, or outside of you. Because again, and always, like I say in my videos, when we are not paying attention to our inner selves, we will attract situations outside of ourselves to make us aware, at least try, and we project this immediate association and guilt for the other circumstances around us, but never trying to understand, or hardly trying to understand, the meaning within us and why we attract these type of situations to our lives. And what can I learn from here? Even when it's about heartbreak, betrayal, sadness, loss, whatever, in this type of meaning. But again, if you're projecting too much to the outside, expecting the outside to give you the answers, it's probable that you may find some truths that hurt your heart, or, in my opinion, that simply remembers you, that awakens you to wounds in your heart that still need healing, at wounds in your heart that still need attention. And the moon will reveal this to you in a very, in the flash way. You will feel it coming. You will feel it in you. There will be days, especially around the full moon, that you'll feel very scared sometimes, or just oversensitive and not understanding what the hell is going on inside of you and around you. And so be be mindful of the environment, the places that promote peace, the people that you see as balanced that can help you, or pray, meditate. It's like this card is also telling you that in your environment you are being guided, you are being divinely guided to get you again to this point of understanding of the dualities around you, to get you the signs, to get you the little synchronic events, to put you in this space of healing, to look at your heart in a different way, to commit to yourself and your independent spirit in a deeper level, because the foundations are there. And maybe this could just be about a situation where you want to follow independent path, you want to go on a more you yourself path, and you feel bound and chained to others, to outside judgment, outside criticism, what they're going to say, what they're going to think. I cannot do this to them. I'm going to be selfish. I'm going to be too individualistic. If there's this type of patterns in you, this shakeup and this disruption in relations, or in circumstances around you that cause you heartache, could be to push you, in this direction of freedom, because you also have judgment, and judgment is about freedom, rebirth, being surrendering to what it is, knowing that when you awaken to this sense that there's many things that you don't need, there's many things that you can let go of, even if you are naked, facing judgment, facing others, facing people, you are free, because there's nothing more more free, that can give you more freedom, real freedom, than just being yourself, than just being you as you are, as others like it, as others will agree or not. So judgment calls you to be aware as well to the judgments of yourself, where you can be too hard on yourself and others, and what you are listening too much, and what you are forgetting about. Pay attention to your heart chakra this week. Pay attention to the love, to the wounds, to the healing that is needed. If you go through rough times, understand that this is a time of redemption. This is a time of transcendence and freedom, ultimately, that will put you in the path of your real self. So, Taurus, I really appreciate all your comments, subscriptions, likes. I really, really appreciate it. Um, if you do celebrate Christmas, I wish you all a Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas. And hopefully we'll see each other before the new year, and we'll see each other soon.